Hello? It's working there. Hello? I guess we'll just use this. That's what we're going to have to use because the mic. I guess we'll just use this. That's what we're going to have to use. Echo. Okay. That's what we're going to have to use because I don't know. There's a setting that's not working. So we're just going to, yeah. Alrighty. So, now, the idea behind this is we're going to check out some current videos talking about modern day controversies. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on it.
From the very beginning, people were telling Disney that their live-action race-swap Little Mermaid was destined for failure because it was all about identity politics, from the casting decisions, from the choices they made regarding changing the story, and of course, even changing lyrics within classic songs because they were just too offensive. It was destined to be a flop, and it is. It's something that's going to struggle to reach $550 million worldwide when it needed about $700 to $750 million just to break even. Well, now, after the failure that was The Little Mermaid, get ready for the next Disney live-action remake that's solely focused on identity politics. That would be Snow White, featuring Rachel Zegler. These two announcements were made very close to each other, Race Swap Snow White and Race Swap Little Mermaid. Well, now we have our first pictures from set, and it looks like it might be worse than anyone could have possibly imagined. Here's Joel Berry, my man Joel Berry here, just laughing because that's almost all you can do. Not only is this Snow White, but look at her companions. I guess it's not the seven dwarves anymore. It's the, he says Snow Brown and the multi-ethnic Portland hipsters. I don't...
Well, technically dwarf does not actually signify white, and they could be any one, technically any sex as well, female, male. But I get, that's beside the point. But I mean, in all technicality, a dwarf does not signify a white or even male itself. It's just another fictional fantasy race.
Know exactly what these people are supposed to be. There's a girl thrown in there as well. It looks like there's one dwarf. One dwarf of the seven dwarfs. The rest of them look like, I don't know, they're going to go to like an animal rights protest or something. I'm not sure what to make of this, but it just gets worse. From the Daily Mail exclusive, Snow White and the seven politically correct companions. First picture of new Disney live-action remake shows shows the princess walking with diverse band of married men and women after Roe over using dwarf actors. Remember, they decided that they weren't going to use dwarves because it was just so offensive. And then they got bullied into including, I guess, one. They have one little person. They have one.
Yeah, but to my greater knowledge, the only person that made a big deal about that was, what's the name of that actor? He played Tyrion Lannister. That was the only guy complaining about it. To which I thought it was kind of ridiculous because no other little person has ever complained about it. Just him. I don't know. The thing about actors, sometimes they just shove their head up their ass.
Just look like weird people, but normal sized, I suppose. Maybe a little bit short, I don't know. What the fuck is going on? This is the next Disney live action remake. I wonder how this...
I wonder what this trailer looks like. Let's go watch, see if we can find it. Snow White and the Seven live action.
The crown is mine. Slave in the magic mirror. Come from the farthest space. Through wind and darkness, I summon thee.
My queen. What would you like to know? Tell me.
Magic mirror.
Is this
on
like
the
a
wall.
fan-made one?
Who is the fairest one of all?
Lips red as the rose. Hair black as ebony.
It's got to be fan-made
Snow White.
because it just
The
looks
crown is mine.
too generic. Let's see, what is this? Screen culture. Yep, fake concept. We would like the real thing. Have they even released an actual trailer? They probably haven't then. So apparently all we got is this picture. Okay. Let's just Google it. Images. So apparently so. So there isn't a trailer yet. You know, I don't really see how we can call these dwarves if, well, we got regular sized people up in there. And what, all because like one actor, like the guy that played Tyrion Lannister, his name's not coming to my mind right now, was bitching? I mean, if Warwick Davis can play a troll and not take issue with it, I mean, yeah. If Warwick Davis can play a character that is called a peck, I'm referring to Willow, which is, you know, in that fantasy world, a derogatory term, I don't really see why the Game of Thrones Tyrion Lannister what the fuck is that guy's name? Where are you? Ah, Peter Dinklage. Yeah. Like, that's the only person I ever heard, at least the news talked about, was him complaining about the whole dwarf scenario with the live action Snow White. So I don't really see like why it's a problem. I don't know. It's kind of redonkulous if you ask me. Well, that was a failed thing because apparently there's no actual trailer. That's clearly man-made and it was poorly done. Well, let's go with the Little Mermaid. There we go. Official trailer. I would hope so, seeing as how the movie's already been out. You know what I don't get is like, if they were gonna change Ariel, why not change the prince as well? I don't know. I guess they're trying to, you know, go for that diverse relationship concept or whatever.
You broke the rules. You went to the above world.
A man was drowning. I had to save him.
This obsession with humans has to stop.
Oh, and then apparently King Triton has different daughters of different races. I'm not really sure. Apparently all from the same mother as well. You want to talk about a lack of imagination?
Poor child.
I can help you. You can't live in that world unless you become.
I heard that the only redeeming thing
Is that even
about this
possible?
film is
What I
Ursula.
live for.
Something about you seems different. I can't quite figure it out.
She got legs, you idiot.
I don't know where, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now.
And then they go for this mixture, like this scene is colored, but apparently the majority of the scenes in the ocean are rather dark.
He's a human. You're a mermaid.
That doesn't make us enemies.
So, I wonder if my mic will work. Apparently my mic is only working on this screen. So, I don't know why. In order to figure it out, I'd have to end the stream. It's kind of annoying. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to do this. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'd say the biggest problem with most of these live actions, whether we're talking The Little Mermaid, whether we're talking Snow White, is this idea of fake diversity. Because that's what this comes down to. It's fake diversity. So see, I remember back yonder, it was like 2014, when I was doing my college course, and they were talking about how people, you know, if you want to be a writer, people want kind of more diverse stuff. But it wasn't described to us in the sense that, hey, create your own version of Little Red Riding Hood and make her black, make her Asian, make her Mexican, all right? It was simply, you know, add in these characters. Try to create stories with these kind of characters that are of a different culture, a different sex, that kind of thing. What Hollywood is doing, what Disney is doing, is the complete opposite of that. They're just doing fake diversity for the sake of fake diversity. And here's how I look at this. You have to ask yourself, if you're a black person or in any minority group that is not largely representative within other film industries, specifically Western USA, would you rather your children grow up to see an original, brand new character that is quote unquote diverse, or would you rather be handed down the sloppy seconds of a story that is based on white mythology and white stories, all right, characters, what have you, and you're just handed the sloppy seconds of that? I kind of find it a little odd that there are actual black Americans that look at the Little Mermaid film and they think it's some kind of amazing thing. Because at the end of the day, all it is fake diversity. Not to mention that you're basically defending a company who at the end of the day is going to take the actress and put her on the back of the bus when it comes to the Chinese poster. Just like they did with Black Panther, just like they did with, what is it? I think his name is John Boyega, the guy that played the trooper in the Star Wars films. He even came out and talked about that controversy of what they did, how he was all big and large on, you know, U.S. and other countries, but yet when it came to China, they were like, yo, Boyega, get your black ass to the back of the bus because that's where you belong. Why? Because that's what China apparently believes. I don't know. I just find it completely mind baffling that not only will we have black Americans defending this sloppy seconds, but in their own way, whether they know it or not, they're defending the very ideology of Disney, who is ironically more quote unquote racist than what most people who speak up against this kind of stuff, talk about this kind of stuff, are labeled racist because they don't agree with it. But I also feel that one of the bigger reasons, like you look at somebody like this individual, I kind of feel like they're just more or less doing it. Oh, let me actually show you. I kind of feel like they're more or less just doing it for the views rather than because they honestly care, because a lot of the people that do this kind of thing don't really give any kind of solution to the problem. They don't try to meet people halfway. Like, as a creator myself, someone who was, during college, this was mentioned to us about creating diverse characters. But it wasn't about, you know, shoehorning it in and ignoring the story. It wasn't about shoehorning it in and let's make this character a badass because, well, women have always been seen as the damsel in distress, so we need to make sure that we create a badass character. But the reality of it is that in your own writing, if you're doing your job as a writer, that character should have strengths and weaknesses, just like any male character. No male character is a badass out of the boat. I mean, you look at somebody like John Wick. John Wick, yes, he's a badass, but he also gets hit. He also gets beaten down. All right, he's in essence a human. I mean, could you? I try to imagine that if they were to create a John Wick female version, that they would barely get hit. They would barely get hit upon. You get what I'm saying? They would make the female version of John Wick overpowered instead of giving that character flaws, just like the original, the male version of John Wick has. That's another problem that we see. It's like, for example, the actual Star Wars with what the fuck was her name? I can't even remember her name. That's how the chick that played the Jedi. All right, badass from the beginning. It's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how none of this works. Yeah, and you know, at its core, and you know what? It's not even just people, you know, regular Joes who are watching these kind of trailers and being like, oh, I'm represented. It's like, you're seriously telling me you're happy with sloppy seconds? You're happy with a character who was white and now black, and you're being handed sloppy seconds. You're okay with that. You somehow think that that's a good thing. Instead of an original character that actually, in context to Disney, adds to what we would call the diversity of the princesses. Because the princesses even today are still majority white. I mean, Ariel is still white. It doesn't matter that they've created a black Ariel. She's still white. Because it's not an original princess. It is just the hand-me-down sloppy seconds of a character that is, quite frankly, unoriginal. And, you know, they still could have used the title, The Little Mermaid, for the film. All they would have to have done is just change the character herself. I mean, like, if I were to have been on the team for creating The Little Mermaid live action, I think I would have started it off with, we come across the mermaid. She's looking off into the castle where Ariel actually is. All right? And maybe she sees her in her human form. And she doesn't necessarily long to be human, but she wants to travel the world. All right? So she's not really spooning over a guy per se. She's just kind of saw how Ariel's life became and wants that same thing. So what we're doing here is we're taking something that's well known, such as, you know, Ariel, the Little Mermaid, and we're going to say, here's a live action, quote unquote, sequel. Okay? telling a completely different story with a different character. Kind of similar, because yes, she wants to, in essence, become human, but she doesn't want to become human for the same reason Ariel wants to become human. She wants to become human because she wants to travel the world. In fact, the way I imagine it, she actually already has a boyfriend, a mermaid boyfriend, okay? And there's going to be some controversy between them because he doesn't want her to go, and he doesn't want to go with her. And I mean, it's complete wasted opportunity on Disney not to create an original princess, because you could still do that even using the title The Little Mermaid. I mean, I think it was, I can't remember which one it was. It was either The Little Mermaid 2 or 3, which actually had a black mermaid in it already. And not to mention, you look at the utter effing ridiculousness of this film, The Little Mermaid, all right? And you're going to seriously tell me that a white man is responsible for birthing different racial mermaids? That's shit crap writing at its core. When in reality, what they should have done is do exactly how humans are, except for the ocean. You get what I'm saying? I don't really see why they couldn't have just done that. And there's different kings, different leaders in different parts of the ocean. And that would ultimately allow them to tell a different story based on a completely original new character that adds to the list of princesses, rather than handing down the hand-me-down sloppy seconds. It just kind of boggles my mind. Not to mention, you look at people like, Trevor Noah. He did a segment on his show talking about it. I think even Whoopi Goldberg mentioned it in like The View, talking about, well, it's a mermaid, it's fictional. It's like, well, no shit. I mean, no one at any point has made the argument that it is somehow factual. The argument is that it's based off white mythology. And would it not be better, would you yourself, Trevor Noah or Whoopi Goldberg, for example, as black Americans, would you not see it as more beneficial to have an original black princess as opposed to here's some sloppy seconds? It's definitely a touchy subject for some people, that's for sure. There's no denying it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I guess we can go back to watching this video.
Shit. Hi ho, hi ho, it's off to the job center they go, for the seven dwarves have been replaced by magical creatures for Disney's live-action remake. Rachel Zegler, who plays the fictional princess, has been pictured for the first time with her new companions, who appear to be a mix of genders, ethnicities, and heights. The actress, wearing Snow White's famous yellow and blue dress and a red cape, is trailed by a group who are dressed in brightly colored clothes and carrying work tools. They were spotted shooting scenes in Bedfordshire on Thursday in pictures obtained exclusively by Mail Online. Disney announced magical creatures would replace the seven dwarves to avoid reinforcing stereotypes after Peter Dinklage criticized the fucking backwards story last year. So you're taking these people that are just so oppressed and you're taking jobs away from them. That's what you decided to do. What the
I don't know.
fuck is this?
I'm going to tell you right now, I thought, when I heard about that, I thought Peter Dinklage, he shoved his head up his ass. I still think he shoved his head up his ass. He's like the only little person, dwarf, short person that was complaining about it. It's like, dude, you made your money playing a deformed short person on Game of Thrones. I don't think you have much room to talk, especially when it comes to removing potential job opportunities of basically his fellow people, which, yeah, you get what I'm saying. people that are, you know, similar to him in height.
I wonder if one of them's trans. I guess that's about the only thing.
Hey, you want to know something I noticed?
We'll have to figure out.
There's no, let me see if I can get it.
We'll have to
Scroll up,
out.
you douchebag.
There's Rachel
He's not
Zegler,
scrolling up.
trans. I guess that's about.
Okay, look. Where's, if this is true diversity, where's the heavy set people? That's all they're missing.
The only thing we'll have to ask. It's the only thing we'll have to figure out. And again, there's Rachel Zegler, a character whose name is literally because of the color of her skin. They decided to go a different route with that. Identity politics is at play all throughout this. Here they are. There they are walking through the field. Snow White and her
Those
7 companions.
costumes
7 magical
look
companions.
very generic.
What a fucking joke. And we could tell when they talked about these
Like when I
talked
say
about Snow White
generic, I'm
and Little
talking
Mermaid,
like Willow, the TV series generic. That was pretty bad.
They said, you know, we really have to change these characters because it's not okay for the modern era. Then why use them? They're changing these stories. New Little Mermaid, Snow White stars say their modern characters won't be defined by needing a man's love. In 1937, the cartoon was so focused on her finding true love, and it's not even in her mind at all in this film. Rachel Zegler tells us Friday at Disney's D23 Expo.
Okay, so as a writer, if I wrote a story, and granted, I can't really speak for any past writer that wrote any of the original works, but I can tell you that I, as a writer today, if I, excuse me, if I wrote a story and say Disney or Amazon or Netflix approached me and they want to make a live action film or TV series, I would be highly skeptical of giving them permission or a license or leeway to do it. And if I did, there would be some caveat to that within of itself.
She's so focused on becoming the leader her father tells her so that she can be. And she's really trying to find the courage to stand up to the evil queen and how to find her own agency and rule a kingdom. She meets so many incredible people along the way. Maybe she finds love. Maybe she finds friendship. But what's really important is that she finds her own voice. This is what everyone has to look forward to. Snow White and the 7 fucking weirdos, I guess. Look at this shit. This is the next big live-action failure on the way from woke Disney. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, I think I'm going to end the live stream. I think I've said a good majority of what I wanted to say in regards to this subject. It's just ridiculous in context within of itself. Like I said, you know, all it really is fake diversity. It isn't, you know, what we would call true diversity, which is creating original stories with original characters. Like, even if you want to sit there and you look at something like Little Red Riding Hood, for example, there is what we would call a right and a wrong way to rewrite that story. And if you want to add diversity to it, it's like, why are you doing it? Is it because it's the story, or is it for the diversity? Because one or both are going to fail. One or both are going to conflict with each other. Would it not be better just to create an original story? Because that's the way I was told as a writer. What I should be doing is creating original characters with original stories, with their own thoughts and experiences. And that is what diversity is supposed to be. Not handing out sloppy seconds of films and stories that have already been retold and told again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. I'm going to end it right here because there isn't a whole lot to say on this unless I just watch a bunch of videos, but then I would just kind of be repeating myself at the end of the day. I thank you for coming, watching, and I hope to see you on the next